Hi everybody, and welcome to the weekly scopes from the 20th of November right up until the 26th. On the 20th of November, when the moon enters its Balsamic Moon, dark moon phase. During this phase, it's a good time for some time out, taking some time alone in solitude. Got the time, it doesn't have to be a long time, it can just be a minute, it can just be as long as you have for. So the black moon some of you may want to take time out, some of you may actually, even if you're normally outgoing, may become shy at this time and want to stay around any drama, any chaos or noise or anything like that. It's a time to get ready to release and let go and to chill out, try and relax. And if you don't know how to relax, do some research. So look for people who do. Don't go overboard, but just remember to have that time to just try and still. I know the world's unstable and there's just so much madness, but still it's important to look after your health on all levels so that you can keep on going through and have optimal sort of like energy levels. And the dark moon, Balsamic Moon, actually is a rejuvenating, moving into that rejuvenating phase of the new moon. So throughout the Balsamic Moon transits, you may find yourself contemplating the past and thinking about the future without much focus on the now. You may have a deeper connection with your inner voice, your intuition, your imagination and your dream life right now. You write down any thoughts, even nightmares, although it can be fear, give us fear and be scary. They've always got some sort of symbol, and normally we're fighting from the people from our past, or the symbols that are shown to us is showing us an event or person we need to heal from. So you may find yourself asking yourself questions like, what do I need to do to change so that I can become my authentic self? What's stopping me from doing this? What patterns of my past do I keep repeating? What steps do I need to take to create the future I want? What do I need to give up to be able to move forward? So these are the sort of questions we ask ourselves when the moon's in its Balsamic Moon sort of like phase. It's just good to reconnect and just to get a bit vulnerable with ourselves and real and not run from those problems. Although it can be hard, but I don't know how long you've been doing it for, but it can just get repetitive, and I know it's a hard cycle and habit. None of this stuff, self-improvement, is really easy. There's many falls, it can get very dark. Having been on my own sort of like spiritual awakening, which has been going on for 23 years now, and changed some stuff, but the stuff that I've been trying to change for a while, and that's not to dishearten you, that's just to be real with you. But each day you improve and each day you get going forward and being able to just forgive yourself, because that's the hardest thing. We've all done things that make us feel shameful about and guilty and all the rest of it. And of course, if we had time, we would try not to regret things. And yeah, it's good not to regret, but we all know, if we had times we could go back, but we can't. So that's the factual, we cannot go back even though. So the best thing to do is just to try. It's hard to forgive yourself and do better by doing better in your future, by working in the present moment. Because what we do every day is eventually who we do become. It is actually who we become. So this is why day-to-day habits are important. You smoke 20 cigarettes, for instance, then move down to 19, then move down to 18, and then you just slowly cut yourself down. Don't do it all fast, because when we do it fast, that's when we're going to fail. I've seen it many, many times, testing it so much times with myself. So it's just best to do that slow and steady change. So yeah, that's the Balsamic Moon phase. And yeah. Also on the 20th, the Sun makes its strongest conjunction with Jupiter. So this allows for you to relax and have that good time. And also, mixing business with pleasure. Think about it before you do the repercussions and stuff. Make sure you make the right decisions. You can come into contact with more influential or free-thinking people that can help you go through your problems and the healing that the Balsamic Moon wants you to do. And they can also pass on any valuable advice or financial or other support at this time. So yeah, that's the 20th of November. On the 21st of November, the moon enters its first void of course phase, so I explained this once, and then, it applies for any other time I mention void of course during this week's horoscope. So yeah, on my website I've got a link about what to do, and it's also underneath these videos. So some astrologers say it's best to delay essential things during the void of course, but practically you can't always do that. So if you have to be in difficult situations, then just be mindful and do your best to get out of them, and be aware. Don't react, especially if you're gonna wanting to shout at someone or anything like that, get angry, that can have negative repercussions. So yeah, just be mindful of all of that. So yeah, that's the moon void of course. Also today the moon enters Libra. So the moon enters the constellation of Libra today. So the best use of this energy is to work with, cooperate with each other, help each other, compromise to find solutions to problems, and getting work completed quicker by, again, what's the key word? Harmony, balance, Libra energy. So of course that's what it means. And being friendly with people. It's good energy also to work on creative work or any other projects, and becoming more refined in your taste and appearance. You may find yourself, you may normally get fish and chips, and you may fancy try a bit of Italian or Mexican or something, Indian spicy, or from anywhere else, or something a bit more exotic. Today you may be seeking that. Working through your problems peacefully, looking for resolutions that meet the needs of everybody involved. Some of you may create legal or strengthen creative partnerships under this influence. It allows you to remain calm, rational, focus on practicalities, and navigate any challenges that come up now. So this energy is really good for you to remain focused and on the end goal while ironing out the cracks of the destination as well. It's best to put off any essential matters until a later date if you can't keep a level head. You may be able to appreciate music, beauty, nature, as I said earlier, exotic foods more, making this moon perfect to start or continue artistic or musical projects that you've already been working on, or any other design or creative project. Socializing with others and spending time with your intimate ones and making them feel appreciated with words of affection and affirmation. You may show this appreciation by cooking for them, taking them out, giving them a gift, or meeting their needs in some other way. Some of you may be more interested in your own personal psychological and emotional issues than socializing. So you may opt still to, even though this is a very cooperative energy, to spend time alone. Negatively, Libra energy can make people be more distant or outspoken, or to be telling lies, which can cause tension in the relationship due to lack of understanding, bad manners, insensitivity to other people's feelings and things like that. So it's just best to do your best not to talk behind people's back, be superficial, people pleasing, and try and be rational and peaceful and practical. Listen to other people's point of view and state your actions and wishes, and assert yourself, but be thoughtful to reduce the conflict. It's a good time to look after your body, drink more water, and just be in tune with those feelings, as I said, because Libra Moon can make us more emotionally or more spiritually or psychologically hypersensitive. So it's very important to be careful when you're in the psychic realms. Any other moon phase, you should always be careful, because just as the earth plane can be slippery, so can the astral realms and stuff. So just be careful. It's also, for you gardeners out there, a good time to plant actual house plants and stuff like that. Well, garden plants as well, when the moon, or replant them when the moon is in the constellation of Libra. Planting colourful fruits, vegetables and other things can make your garden look more colourful. You find the harvest be more vibrant. Excellent period, they say, to plant hard crop roots such as parsnips, celery roots, and water chestnuts, ginger, potatoes and turmeric and all those sort of hearty, rooty vegetables that can weather storms and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the 21st of November. Now on the 22nd of November, the moon enters Via Combusta, which is the way of fire. It runs from the 15th degrees of Libra to the 15th degrees of Scorpio. And in astrology, especially astrology, if that's how you say it, similar, but yeah, the one, it's essentially making predictions and stuff like that. When the moon is in the fiery way, some astrologers think it's best to delay things and put things off, sort of like when the moon's void, of course. Still, I see this fiery way moon combustion energy perfect to start or continue working through your deep emotions, self-destructive thoughts or behaviours, and psychological, spiritual relationship problems. Because after all, you can't feel the fullness of life if your thoughts and relationships are holding you back. It's a good time also to explore any matter that requires you to dive deep and that you typically norm yourself to or run from. It won't all be a bed of roses. You may go through some emotional turmoil. Nevertheless, you can get out of the darkness if you keep working on your own personal development. So yeah, that's the 22nd. Now on the 23rd, the moon enters void, of course, again, and then it enters Scorpio at 11:34, and it's also going to be a super new moon later on as well. So yeah, the best use of the moon in Scorpio energy is to look after your financial, sexual, emotional health, working to understand and let go of any anger. Increase your self-discipline, take practical action towards completing things, study scientific, technological or occult topics, and forgive those you feel have wronged you. If you find it hard to express your emotions, writing them down now may help. The moon in the constellation of Scorpio may also see people becoming more diligent and making a practical effort to improve their home environment or their work or environment, space, their living spaces, their men, women and nuns and the binary caves and dens and stuff. So this energy, moon in Scorpio, is good to also make all serious paperwork like life and other insurance, study scientific, technological, occult or other intellectual subjects, and practice self-discipline and mood control. If you consciously use the moon in Scorpio vibration, you can complete the things you put your willpower to. Doing the work to improve your physical or emotional, inner feeling, spiritual and psychological home. Taking care of your finances can bring extra rewards in the long term. If you start the work of improving your life or continue it right now, also increases sexual and psychic activity. Negatively, past emotional resentments and conflicts involving money and other resources may cause problems in relationships. Although you may take action to avoid these types of confrontations, you may be forced to deal with them, so it's best to admit any wrongdoing and try and forgive yourself and others at this time, which may be hard to do. It's best for you so that you can move forward. So yeah, remember, we can never change our past. We can relive it repeatedly in our minds, blocking the new directions we could be walking towards. There can also be an increase in jealousy and or vengeful behaviour when the moon's in the constellation of Scorpio. People can be intent on repaying what they see as past wrongs. People can become more secretive in their behaviours, and this can create further tension in close relationships. Some of you may feel like your creative and vital energies are blocked. Getting as much rest as possible is essential to rejuvenating your life force and upping up your energy levels. You may want to try some, if you have got anger and rage, if you do any martial arts or Tai Chi, jumping, screaming for some of you may be the best way to release pent up anger, when you're out in a secluded place or in your car. Lack of money may also bring you added stress, but it's imperative to consider what you can do with what you have rather than focus on what you don't have. It can take longer for you to reach your goals in the long run due to lack of adequate resources. You may have to make do, but if you keep on trying, eventually you'll get there. Although you may be, tempted to start new things, the best use of this moon in Scorpio energy is to finish up old projects, any old business, any old paperwork, resolving old arguments and stuff like that. For you gardeners out there, when the moon is in Scorpio, it's a decent time to plant hard crops and vines such as pole beans, corn, cucumbers, pumpkins, tomatoes, squash, melons and courgettes. So also on the 23rd of November, Mercury enters out of bounds. So out of bound planets in astrology, planets are called out of bounds when their declination is greater than 23.27 degrees. If you are listening to this podcast on, like a podcast player like Spotify, Amazon, like that, if you scroll through the list, I'm sure that I've made a short audio or maybe a long audio, knowing me, explaining all what declination is all about. So out of bound planets or luminaries in transit can enchant creative thinking and self-expression. People can speak their minds more during this phase. On the local or global level, secrets may be revealed, or there can be a misuse of official communications or other resources, and this can be revealed. Mercury begins its out of bound period on the 23rd of November 2022 and stays there until the 22nd of December 2022. Mercury out of bounds increases intellectual reasoning and or creative imagination. You may find yourself craving more knowledge during this phase and wanting to be around people that stimulate your mind more. In relationships, you may seek a more analytical, psychological connection. Superficial attractions may not turn you on now. This transit additionally gives you the power to start or continue learning new languages. In the social sphere, you and others may have fun or cause arguments by making fun of each other, or imitating each other and things like that, and this can hurt some people. Some people just take it as light-hearted fun. Negatively, you can have difficulty finding the words or right ways of verbally communicating your opinions or needs. However, you may be better at writing your feelings at this time. It's excellent influence that allows for more creative writing and content creators to produce content that explores taboos around communication, such as speech disabilities, using AI to produce content, dirty sex talk, and using swear and other offensive words and what they mean and why people find them offensive and pros and cons of each. People can also become more self-conscious during this time, anxious, reserved in emotional expression and more shy. Also today on the 23rd we have a super full new moon. So a super moon happens when the moon is at its closest point to the earth in its elliptical path, so that it appears bigger than it does at other times. According to some astrologers, supermoons enchant and deepen emotions and repressed desires and feelings can surface more intensely right now. So yeah, new moon energy is all about new beginnings, even if it's just new ways of thinking about you doing things. When it's new moon, it's an excellent time to think about improving your life, starting new projects, look for a new career path, begin new courses and things like that. Rearranging your home or office to create comfort and practicality is the best use of this energy as well. Although, for some of you it may not be just the right time to make practical plans in terms of taking action, fulfilling your plans, but it's a good time to research or the planning stage of it and finding out those details and having them down to a good plan. Being consistent in trying to achieve your goals is the best use of this time. Don't underestimate the planning side of things. People are more likely to think more independently, focus on their own priorities, so there can be more introverted behaviour and less socialising right now. Anything started under the new moon period is well aspected to be a success in the long run. If you are prepared to do the hard work to make your dreams a reality. Negatively, people can become more intensely focused on their needs at this time. There can also be an increase in selfish, egotistical, controlling behaviour, people wanting to get their own way, which can lead to arguments as people try to dominate each other. The moon can also be a good time to invest time and energy in your own personal development or re-evaluate your long-term investments, especially those related to food, creative and entertainment, stock markets and stuff like that. But make sure you do fact checks and don't buy into the panic, and just try stay level-headed, because there are a lot of losses going on in the financials at the moment. During the new moon phase today, the moon also makes a conjunction with Mercury and Venus. So although there's some aspects going to talk about that is going to bring in those power struggles, this energy allows for harmony, affection and empathy in social and professional, intimate and all the types of relationship. People may pay more attention or talk more about beauty, appearances, money, possessions, music. Energy supports all forms of inner work and personal development, which is the calling of the new moon. So this is like doubling and reinforcing that energy. The mind has the power to influence emotions and actions under this, so just be aware of that and just make sure what you are actually doing and saying is what you really want to put out there. Mercury's conjunction with Venus supports imaginative thinking and creating creative solutions to your problems. People can talk more with passion, express their authentic feelings, especially in romantic hookup situations. And this influence allows people to authentically listen more and intuitively tune into and understand each other's point of view right now, which can draw people together or cause some arguments for some of you. Jupiter also makes a conjunction with Neptune, so this allows for separating the positive from the negative, and also provides the vibration for all creative types to get serious about their work and be disciplined and think of strategic plans to overcome obstacles in projects. This is backing up again the new moon calling of you starting planning or starting to work in or continue to work towards your goals. Also excellent energy, because we're talking about Neptune here and Jupiter, both are dealing with that sort of higher learning, deeper meanings in life. So exploring the psychic realms and stuff like that, if you can stay grounded and learning new things in general or continuing existing hobbies. The sun and moon also makes a separating trine to Jupiter, so it's further amplifying the capacity for people to cooperate with each other and be helpful and be a bit more open-minded. But negatively, some people may be too lazy or do too much, be overindulgent with food, money, drugs and other intoxicating substances or service right now, and this can again further cause arguments in intimate relationships or make you not do your work as good and lower productivity in general. And because Venus and Mercury also makes a trine to Chiron, emotions can get the better of us, but this energy also allows to support and understand your own and other people's pain and have the right words at the right time, helping each other through emotional and psychological suffering. But again, negatively, you can use words or actions to hurt other people, trigger each other. But all of this is a powerful healing energy, so supporting that healing force. Mars separating trine to Saturn again backs up the willpower and discipline and determination that I was talking about earlier. So although there may be some pressure, this provides the energy to not to crumble under it. Jupiter's ongoing sextile to Pluto supports all forms of occult, scientific or technological work or research. Saturn's ongoing square to Uranus, however, can make people feel inferior and causes power struggles and abuses of authority. And so it's important to remember to compromise or affirm your boundaries in case people try to take advantage of you. So to avoid exploitation and stand your ground, but in a harmonious way to avoid explosive conflict as well. Mars makes a square to Neptune, so this supports that some people may waste the new moon's potential and get lost in the intoxicating substances or try and numb themselves from reality by using adventure and pleasure seeking. Watch out for, again, taking dangerous amounts of harmful substances, because Mars' influence here can make people act impulsively. Neptune's brings avoidance and a lack of clarity, so together this can lead to excessive risk taking that can negatively affect your long-term emotional, psychological, physical, material stability. So avoid wasting the opportunities that come your way under this new moon. The fixed mold is strongest, meaning people are given a chance to be more focused and they want more tangible action rather than idealistic words. But still, we've got strong Venus and Neptune energy during the new moon, and water being the most potent element today. So this can make people more emotional, avoidant, and using distractions to escape, and feelings can get in the way of logic. And on top of this as well, people, because of that fixed energy, people can stubbornly resist any change and prefer to stay in their comfort zones overall. And if someone's saying, no, get out your comfort zone, people can act a bit violent with that Mars sort of like influence there as well. So, but all in all, if you apply yourself, there's a lot of planetary aspects that support positive thoughts and actions. The Sun is in the Scorpio's 8th Sabian degree, and the moon is in the 9th. So the tagline for the Sun Sabian degree is a quiet openness to higher inspiration. So suggesting that a calm mind is needed to achieve your goals, and your mind doesn't have to be still all the time, because that's kind of impossible. Yet there must be periods of stillness so you can hear the guidance from within. On the individual level, it serves as a reminder to heal any barriers you have to loving yourself, so you can experience an inner love that transcends and rises above all personal feelings, situations, egos that, although if you suffer with grief and stuff like that, or pain, suffering, even though you may still experience heartbreak and stuff like that, you've got this inner centre of love that knows that you can get through it. And the moon is also in the 8th degree of Scorpio. So the keynote for this is overcoming the negative results of social practices and ego cravings. And the tagline for this is a dentist at work. So when you think of a good dentist, it's someone who takes their time and has care while working with delicate areas such as your teeth and gums. So it's with this same attitude that this degree calls upon you to take the healing and growth of the spiritual, emotional and psychological areas of life, just being careful, make sure you go through, each room, each unresolved trauma step by step, and none of it isn't easy to do so, but this degree supports that sort of deep inner work where you make your mind up to understand, heal and manage your addiction and personality traits, so you try and form some kind of balance so you can still move forward in your intentions and your goals. This energy is urging you not to rush the process as you embrace change and be gentle with yourself. Try and be as calm as you can with all the economical instability and increased social unrest. It will take courage to think outside the box in these traumatic, divisive times, and not to be blasé about it all, but if you look back through human history, the earth is constantly in the traumatic cycle of destruction and change, and although times are unstable, it will take inventiveness to rise above it and the energy to be inventive and to plan it, even though the future looks bleak with environmental changes and stuff like that. And this is not to scare anyone, but this is just to be real about the state of the world and not to sugarcoat it. But still, if you think for solutions to get out of your problems, if you're in dark emotional times or financial times, and you may have to make some changes and you may not like to make these changes, but if you do that, this energy supports all your efforts in making practical and much needed changes to your day-to-day life. So yeah, that's the 23rd of November and the new moon. On the 24th, Jupiter goes stationary direct, and I'm going to talk about that next week because this is, already long. And the moon leaves the Via Combusta stage, the fiery way, as I mentioned earlier this week. Mercury makes a square to Pluto, which allows for quick thinking and reactions and supports taking in intellectual and or other forms of knowledge efficiently. Words can be used to convince others, so it's great energy for sales and marketing work. But watch out for deceptive words and manipulative accents, because some people can be on the make looking to scam you, so try not to scam others as well. This influence can be very slippery, so check facts and stay alert, and do all you can to look after your spiritual, emotional, psychological well-being, because negatively this transit can make people more paranoid, anxious and depressed. Venus also makes its strongest semi-square to Pluto today, so there can be power struggles that can break out. People can fight for domination over each other and increasing the risk of excessive actions and stalker type behaviour. Some of you may be drawn to another like a moth to the flame without knowing why, and going overboard in your romantic expression and seeking pleasure. Some may make unethical choices and people can be more jealous and seek revenge under this energy, so watch out for that. On the 25th of November, the moon enters another void of course period and also enters the constellation of Sagittarius at 12:51 and all times of GMT time, UK time. So when the moon enters the constellation of Sagittarius, some of you may have foretelling visionary dreams or ideas. You may be more restless, seeking independence and adventure and disliking routine. You may have a keener sense of justice, but it's best to think before you say your insights. Legal, political, workplace or community events may sometimes interfere with your life. This energy allows you to focus, however, you may forget to consider others' feelings and thoughts, which may cause disagreements. If you find yourself on edge and more sensitive than usual, you may find exercising or anything else that releases the pent-up emotion or energy will help you relax. You may find yourself paying more attention to politics, finances or cultural activities, especially if they directly affect you or your home life. There can also be an increase in taking trips with family or friends to higher learning places or places where have some kind of religious or some other profound significance. When the moon's in the constellation of Sagittarius, people may become more friendly and empathetic, outspoken, honest, ethical and direct than usual, making things more peaceful in relationships. The Sagittarius moon can make people want more freedom, which can cause disturbances, arguments in committed relationships. Negatively, people can become more erratic, selfish and detached and unpredictable under this influence. There can also be disagreements that break out over prejudice, opinions, people arguing over, my way of life is better than yours, your opinion's wrong, you can't do this because you're this way and I'm this way and this way is better, that sort of thing. There can also be legal or other serious problems due to disagreements over religious or other belief systems. Sometimes there can also be problems with financial transactions and people deceiving others or fraudulently getting what they want through professional moons. So even professionals that you normally go to could do silly things and try and scam, because we're in hard economic times, and like what the saying says, desperate times calls for desperate measures. So it's vital that you double check all paperwork and do your own research at this time. And some of you may struggle with or be willing to take a more philosophical, intellectual, higher consciousness approach to life, which can be a good thing for your overall well-being. And negatively, well, not negatively, but for some of you, traumatic memories from your childhood and the beliefs you were told to follow, wounds surrounding that may surface now, and this can cause inner conflict. And if you do receive guidance right now, of course analyse it, but don't disregard it solely because of what happened in your past. The best use of the moon's energy, travelling through the constellation of Sagittarius, to plan long journeys and be open-minded, look over legal documents, resolve conflicts and focus on the bigger picture of any problem or of your educational belief system and personal development. Taking out the time to read or expand your intellect or consciousness in some way. You may also benefit from seeking out spiritual, religious, psychological, philosophical or some other form of guidance. and exploration right now. Some of you may become intrigued to the point of obsession with occult knowledge or practices or anything else, from human history, and just find something out and research it rapidly, falling down the rabbit hole, as we say, going through online streaming videos and just getting lost for a bit, falling for abstract religious, spiritual concepts and looking into those. When the moon travels through the constellation of Sagittarius, it's a good time for those involved in farming or gardening to sprout seeds, harvest or store bulbs and roots, plant or cultivate bulb or fruit plants, and general sort of groundwork is favoured right now because the moonlight is said to boost the growth of leaves and the planting of legumes, so lentils, peas and beans, tuber roots such as cucumber, courgette, squash, melons, tomatoes and peppers. Also good energy for mowing the lawn. Also today, Mercury makes a quincunx to the moon's north node, so allowing you to take or deepen your connection with people who are intellectually or otherwise stimulating to you. People can become more compassionate and willing to support each other under this influence. Negatively, people can use manipulation tactics to get what they want. On the 26th of November, Venus makes a quincunx to the moon's north node, supporting socialising. Some of you may become more creative during this time, finding out-of-the-box solutions to your problems, or expressing yourself through art, poetry, music, or anything else artistic or crafty. Negatively, in intimate and other relationships, conflict can break out due to forgetting important dates, impoliteness, or breaking someone's boundaries in some way. Mars also makes its strongest trine to Saturn today, which gives the power to overcome challenges and the ability to work hard at even the most tedious of tasks, increasing willpower and concentration and giving the power of endurance and using your time, energy and other resources more wisely today. So that's the weekly scopes from the 20th to the 26th of November. Take care and see you next week.